Something for you to think about. What is your identity? When you think about the word identity, think of understanding, respecting, and appreciating ourselves and others. So if you took a moment to think about who you truly are, when you look in the mirror, who is that person? When I think about myself, I think about the things that I've accomplished. I think about the the greatness of my life and the things that I love to do. I think about simple things like what I like to eat, and trust me, I love to eat. Everything makes me me. And the same thing goes for you. Those tiny little things that only you know about yourself, they are a part of your identity. When you think about other people, putting that truth into them and understanding that everyone is an individual is where respect comes from. When people know who you are, they know how you treat yourself, they know how you respect others, they can respect you too. Just as well, if we're thinking about how we can appreciate ourselves, it goes back down to those tiny moments of understanding who you are. If you can just take one good deep breath right now and truly think about what that peace means, truly think about who you are. There's a lot to be appreciated there, I promise you. So ask yourself right now, how do you see yourself when no one else is looking? I mean, that crazy person, that silly person, that one that loves to go in the kitchen and bake a cake, even if it's just for herself. Who is that person? That's someone who you get to love, you get to appreciate, and you get to show to the world. This is how we establish even the beginnings of welcoming in something wonderful, sharing great things with the world, and creating good changes along the way. In what ways can you grant someone the gift of meaningful reflection? When I look in the mirror, I take a moment to not just see beautiful me because she is beautiful, and so are you, but I also like to look deep inside of myself. If I know that there is maybe a trying day that's happening just in front of me, I take a moment to say, hey, girl, you look great. Today is going to be a hard day, but you have so much already living inside of you that is going to just propel you straight through that. And that's the truth. That's the same thing you have to see for yourself. It's right there waiting for you. Individual experiences every single day. It does not matter who you are, where you've come from, what you believe in. You are having a unique experience in life. People go through all different seasons and there are always changes, but there are just as well lessons that we can learn from them. These equate wisdom, and that is powerful. Some people may experience things like bullying or what may be seen to be as an attack of some sort. Maybe you're on the other end of it and you see it happening. It is an experience. It may be something difficult that you're facing. However, there is so much more that you can do because you have experienced that. So much that you have been able to take from difficult situations and be able to grow through because you know it's important to do so. It's like having a toolbox of information. Now, not everyone is a handyman, a plumber, an electrician, etc. That's not what I'm going to here. What I am saying, however, is that you have things that you learn every day. You can pick things from those situations and tuck them in your toolbox because later on you can find different ways to use them and build something wonderful for yourself along the way. Having compassion for other people is so wonderful. You have something great inside of you, and so does the next person, even if you don't know who they are. Compassion is a grand word, and it encompasses so many beautiful things. You can see someone walking down the street and maybe she's dressed in something absolutely gorgeous, or maybe she has a look of being a model, or maybe you see a gentleman that's being so loving with his children. There are so many little things that we see on a daily basis that we can just take a little note of and maybe applaud that person. Not to say it has to be a grand gesture or anything, but kindness, truly caring about other people and knowing that people are going through different things, that people are still proud of themselves for what they've overcome, and so much more. That's something you can easily do. It's something we should always tap into because life is challenging and we all need support. Challenging norms and positioning what you've learned to be a source of your strength. There are things that may be established in life or in your family or maybe just in society in general, and they become normal. I like to think of myself who does not agree with the word normal or weird because we're all individuals. We all have quirky things. We all have things that we love to do, and that just makes the world go round, basically. So, what's so important to me is that I make sure that I take time every day to do something that is totally me, something totally out the box. One thing that is very comical to me, anyway, is if someone went into one of my playlists, especially on Spotify, and they scrolled through all of my music, they would have no clue who I was, how old I was, or anything else, because there's such a variety of things that I love. I'm challenging what has been presented to me, sometimes being who I am and the way that I appear, that gets challenged, or sometimes it is bothering people for whatever reason. However, I still stand strong in knowing who I am. And that's something you have to do too. The only way that we create change is to take a step. If that means taking a step towards your destiny, if that means taking a step toward just getting out of your everyday routine, that's challenging the normal. You can do that in small ways. You can do that throughout your community and the world because all of us have something great to give the world and is unique. No one can do what you do. That's a promise. So, right now, I'm going to give you just a few little seconds here. This is a moment for freedom of expression. I want you to write down 3 words about who you really are to the world. Really, really, just take a moment to think about that. 3 words. For me, 3 words would be empowering, loving, and very supportive. Those things are important to me, and they always have been. So, who are you? Who are you really, really to this world, and what are you giving? My apologies there. Not sure what happened. Give me just a moment. Okay, on we go. Just remember that those things that make you very special, they are unique and they are beautiful, and you can give them to the world by just showing up and being yourself. Now, we go over here to the roller coaster of self doubt. So while we know that there are so many wonderful things about ourselves and we have wonderful visions about what we can become. This little roller coaster happens. We start off, everything's smooth sailing. It feels nice. You know who you are. You're standing strong. Then you start to go up, up, up.
Oops, I apologize. I'm not sure. Give us 1 minute to figure out what might be going on.
Emotions, the feelings, whatever the experience is, and just pushing forward. You have to do all of those things, and it can be done. You have to take things moment by moment to make it work. So understand that where you are right now, one day, a long time ago, maybe this was a dream. I know for me, this was absolutely a dream, being even here with you. This is not something that just happened yesterday. I magically became Dr. Kayla. No, 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 not at all. I had to go through a lot of things to get here. Even still, sometimes I find myself having moments of doubt. Sometimes I question myself. Sometimes I question the steps that I'm taking. And I take note of all those things. I allow myself to sit in those feelings and then I find ways to overcome. And that's what you have to do too. Life is full of changes and it's always going to be that way. You're going to go ups and downs. You're going through the twists and the turns. That's just a part of life. But if you hold strong to who you are, I guarantee you, you will get to the end of that roller coaster ride, maybe abruptly, maybe backwards, but it will be just fine. I promise you that. I love the word curiosity. Love, love, love. It's something that we have in our hands every single day, a chance to explore the world around us. Think about just this. How can you be a part of the ever evolving world while tapping into what makes you unique? Oh, you most definitely can do that. Get curious about the truth of you. Maybe you've definitely overcome something difficult. We all have. Think about one of the most challenging moments that you've had in your life. How did you overcome that? What did you do to get beyond that moment? What have you learned since? Get curious. Ask yourself these deep questions. Ask yourself why. Why is one of the most powerful curiosity questions that you could ever ask anyone. Maybe it's the conversation that you have with someone else. You get curious about them. Let's say you've walked into a new job. It's the first day. You're feeling a little nervous and anxious. I get it. I'm just like that, little social anxiety. But you want to know more about the individuals in the room because everyone that's there is there for a reason, just like you are. You ask those deep questions. You learn about the experiences. And when you do that, that's when you find new doors opening because you have a new sense of awareness. In that moment, you must remember not to judge other people. Just because someone shared something difficult with you in that moment or any moment in life, that does not mean you get to use that against them. That means and solely means that you get to see a different light in them. That's it. You get curious, you hold strong to what you've learned, and you keep growing. No one has the right to judge anyone, but we do have the right and we should be curious enough to learn about each other because that's how we grow and that's how we create love and support and growth in ourselves and in the world. It's all a matter of taking the moment to do so. And there we go, right into awareness. Powerful self awareness is key when we're thinking about moments of being curious. When you have a conversation with anyone, whether it's your husband, your child, your teacher, anyone. You need to know where you are standing in that moment. Are you standing being someone that's very joyful and happy and you're just eager to be in that conversation? Are you feeling not so much yourself? Are you feeling like the world is very heavy right now and you're just being there? You're just in the room. Maybe it's all of those things, and that's okay too. You have to be aware of that though. Anytime we are engaging in conversation with people, we're trying to learn about what makes them happy, what they like to do, what we like to do for that matter. We have to be truly tapped into ourselves. Be all of yourself over and over again, because that's how you allow yourself to truly be curious and find new ways to elevate your life and do so many other great things. So, a big part of my story, and I wanted to share this because it goes into the depth of who we are. If you looked at me on any given day, you wouldn't know who I was, you wouldn't know where I was from, or anything else. And when we can truly tell a story, when we can share an experience with someone at a deep level, you never know how that could change things. You never know when you could just be maybe saving someone or helping them to smile. But I find that when we can be truly ourselves, there's something magical that happens. So, with that being said, me, I'm Dr. Kayla, but Dr. Kayla's had lots of bumps in the road. I started off life with a loving family, grew up in a single parent home shortly after. I had a whirlwind of a life. I mean, there's so many things that have happened just to this point. Going through middle school, being a Black woman, Black mother, Mexican American woman, Mexican American father, being just that, the simplest things, the genetics of things was difficult. I found so many times that I was just trying to either fit in or be me. Never knew for a long time how those two would collide. In middle school, that was the most difficult. I can tell you a very short story about that. Um, I had an English teacher. Her name was Miss Sutton, and she was very, very kind. On one particular day, I found myself being bullied just over and over again. And during lunch, I decided that I would go to Miss Sutton's room because she said we could always go there if we needed anything. And I did. During this time, we just talked. She helped me to see that it was okay that I was being myself and I didn't have to fit in. I didn't need the approval of anyone, nor did I need to, I guess, just allow negative things to happen to me. And I took that very seriously and I carried it with me. I learned that it was okay to be quirky me. It was okay to be a person that loved to read and that cared so much about other people. I found it to be okay to follow my dreams. It sounds so simple, but growing up, we don't always know exactly what that is. Maybe we don't have the best examples. Maybe life is just so trying that we can't see those things. But that was just a part of me. I started to embrace my culture. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to learn how to speak Spanish. I wanted to learn the dances and enjoy the food. But I took the time to do that. So while I didn't have my father in my life, and that's okay, it happens that way sometimes, we all have different types of families, I still learned about who I was. I challenged myself in many ways to love on me. I went through a lot of things growing through my young adult years. I faced abuse, I faced traumas, I faced ugh, financial burdens. I mean, you name it, basically, it happened. And from that, I used those sources of just knowing who I was in the small ways, knowing how I would overcome in the grand ways, and I picked myself up. See, I knew even back then that I wanted to be someone who'd help someone else. I wanted to find a way to do that powerfully. And I think I'm still doing that. In fact, I know I am. There's so many things that I have learned along the way that I'm just so grateful that I have learned. I learned that it's okay to write and write a lot. It's okay to step on a stage and be terrified and still be present. Even right here with you, I am nervous and I am sweating. But it's that thing that you have to remember. You have to make sure you are doing something even when you are scared, even when you know that you might mess up, you might say the wrong word, still being yourself. I have pushed and pushed myself through so many spaces of education, and I still continue to do so because I enjoy it. I enjoy learning and I enjoy creating positive change in so many ways. This is just a part of who I am right now. But all the moments along the way, all of the ups and downs, all of the closed doors in my faces, trust me, there have been many. I still pushed myself to get right here. You have to remember that no matter what it is you face, this right here, right where you're sitting right now, this is just a moment in time, just a moment in time. But you still have to remember who you are in this moment so that you can push yourself forward. That's all it takes, really. You have the power to create those tools that we will put in our toolbox and push forward. Everything that I've learned along the way, I have told myself that I am watering my mental garden. And that's the truth. I take the things that I learn, I put them back inside of myself in a form of wisdom, I nourish them, and I watch the seeds push out into something great. And you can do that too by just being you. Human communication. Communication can be so difficult no matter what it is that you're doing. Sometimes just that initial hello is the challenge. You might see someone, okay, they don't look like you, they're not dressed like you, they don't speak the same language, whatever it may be. Difficult conversations come up. But when you have those difficult conversations, you can walk away with something great. Sometimes we have to have those conversations so that we can open our eyes and really understand what's happening in front of us. Having conversations like things on race, diversity, inclusion, and even the acceptance of individuality are huge. There was a time a few years ago when there were a lot of protests and things going on that a couple of my friends who happened to be Caucasian white women, they told me that they just wanted to be there to support me. They didn't understand what was going on, etc. That they just basically wanted to wrap me up in bubble wrap. I get it. It's about having those conversations, though. And I made sure to tell them that. I told them, these things that are happening, you're seeing them on television, you're seeing them in the newspapers, but it's been happening. It has been happening. We all have so many difficult things that we face, but it's not plastered on the wall, it's not broadcasted on TV. But if we have those conversations, we learn a little bit at a time. We learn how we can be better people. We learn stories and history, and we finally get to the space of just wondering what could it be that I could do to make right now better? What can I choose to pull from inside of myself to make the world a better place? It could be something very small, it could be something huge, but that's all up to you. As long as you are being honest with yourself and you truly care about making a change. We have to take moments to see things from a different perspective. So many times in life, we are walking around like this, or I don't want to see that. So you want to see what you want to see, and then you push everything else to the side. But that's not so helpful. If you think about something like a relationship, an intimate relationship, that is, you're in a relationship with someone, they have decided that they don't like what you're wearing, just for an example, whatever it may be, it could be a totally different conversation. You try to understand what they're seeing. You decide you want to have a conversation about that. This is the same thing in a workplace. Let's say your supervisor wants you to work on something that is totally outside of your realm, but that supervisor also sees something inside of you that indicates and tells them truthfully that you can handle this. It's a different perspective and it's an opportunity. Every time we step out of the door, there are going to be challenging moments, but we have to take just a breath or two to say, you know what? I understand that this is happening right now, but I want to try to see something from a different light. Just try. When you can take a moment to say, this is not exactly what I want, this is not exactly something that I'm familiar with, but I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to choose to be in tune with the moment and do what I can to truly make a difference. Well being. This is such a powerful space, and I'm going to hang here for just a minute because it is so valuable. I practice as a multicultural coach for women of all ages. And one thing that's so important to me for myself, as well as for my clients and the people that I speak to, is understanding and making sure that people know their well being fully. All of who they are is critical. It is critical. It is so simple for us to just put things to the side. But we have to remember we all have things that we need. We all have things that nourish us inside and out. And so we have to tap into that. Go back to the example of the things that I learned about myself along the way. I love Spanish music. You name it, I love it. I want to dance to it. Now, does that mean everyone else around me loves it? No. But I know that when I hear it, when I sing it, when I'm dancing to it, I am feeling good. It's something that nourishes me. I take a moment to do that regularly. The same can go for someone who maybe loves to read. If a person really, really loves to read, I promise you they have a lot, a lot of books that they have both read and probably a whole nother stack that they haven't touched. But they love what they do. Think about things that make you who you are. What is it? You're allowed to journey through those things without having to be, just approved by someone else. Your individuality, what makes you feel good, what helps you to grow, those things are for you. For any young woman or adult that would walk into my office or have a video chat with me, I would tell them, you first and foremost have to make sure you are good inside and out every day. Now, does that mean that we have to have perfect days or that we just treat everything like it's rainbows and unicorns? No, although that would be cute. That's not what life is. We have to choose to go inside of ourselves and nourish those things that are true to us. Now, when we think about how we navigate through life, not everyone is served the same way. Everyone has a different life, like I mentioned a while ago. Some people have two parents, some people have grandma, some people have their great cousin, whoever it may be, there in their lives. Just as well, somebody might be facing difficulties financially, and you might not know about it. I know for sure when I was going through my early years of school and many times before that, I faced many financial troubles. Parenthood was definitely very, very helpful to me in many ways. And it just goes to show that sometimes life is difficult, but the way we treat ourselves, the way that we choose to look for support and open our eyes to what everyone else is facing, it all matters. We all have a choice to truly live well, and we have to find ways to do that. Sometimes we don't know the answers to that. Sometimes we have to ask other people, what does that even look like? But it can be done. I remember one time when I was doing a writing class, my professor at the time, she wanted us to write about the American dream. And when I heard that phrase, I'm just thinking like, okay, white picket fence, nice house, two kids, a dog, like that's pretty regular. But I fought that. I wanted to look at it from a totally different way. My professor was not very happy about that, but that's okay. I wanted to tell her, my American dream? How did I want to live well? How did I want to create a future for myself? And I let her know that I wanted to be a person that wasn't bound by their circumstances. I wanted to be the woman who was able to overcome everything that was placed before her because it mattered. And I did that. Now, like I said, she was not very happy about this, but I carried myself well and I did well in the paper too. But it was my truth. You have to get curious and ask yourself, what is your truth? How are you going to walk through life? What does that truly look like? You can create a future starting right now. In fact, you already are. Being right here, taking a moment to learn, thinking deeply, you're already creating a new future for yourself. And that's something that's magnificent. When we can look at the world with different eyes, when we choose to continue to grow, that's something magnificent. Taking a moment to say, I really choose to do this very thing right now to make sure I'm okay is one of the best things you can do. Even if you are addressing one of the most challenging moments in your life right now, what you are choosing to do, what you're choosing to say, how you decide to approach a conversation or even walk into a room, it all matters. It's your well being. When you think about well being, you might say, okay, well, I take care of myself. I go to the doctor, I practice self care. That's good. All that is great. What else? Because there should always be a what else. What are you doing to make sure that your individual needs, your unique presence is being heard and seen? All of that matters. If we look at people and we understand that there is a variety in life every single day, things would change a lot, especially in our small circles. The world is full of diversity. Even if that means we look at people from an educational standpoint, you might have someone who is a nurse. You have someone on the totally end of the spectrum that's a fire person. I mean, there's so many different things that we do in life that just simply carry out the way of the world. And just as well, if we think about diversity from a cultural standpoint, the world literally is a rainbow of people. And all of those different shades and colors and religions and thought processes and everything else in between, it all matters. Every person that you run into in this life has a different story. Every one of them. Every one of you in this room has a very specific gift and talent right inside of you that no one else has. I love using this example. If you go into the grocery store and you go down the aisle that has jelly, jams, and preserves, do you only see one? No, absolutely not. You see countless flavors, you see countless colors on the jars and the cans. There's all kinds of things. And if you step into another country, you see all things there too. It changes over and over again. No one is granted the recipe to all the jellies, jams, and preserves, or more likely, to all of the gifts and the talent and the great things inside of you. No, no, it doesn't exist. There's so many pieces that come together to make you who you are. You are a walking, talking, fabulously existing being. So you should treat life that way. We have to learn over and over again that we are all different. And that's a beautiful thing. That's how we choose to create new spaces of inclusion. We choose to hear these new voices and understand different perspectives. That is the way of the world. And it is a beautiful thing. I know over and over again, we have a chance to create something magnificent. When we want to create true and positive change in the world, it can be done. It definitely can be done. But everything starts with you. You have to ask yourself, what is it that I want to do in this world? I love to write, just as an example. Now, what can I do with that very thing? I can nourish myself, I can share that with other people, and I can create something magnificent because of it. When I first navigated through my doctoral program, This is real life here. I was going through so many different things at one time. I was trying to get into a basically a part of the end of my doctoral program. We had to do a physical on site type of work to connect back to the paper that we're writing. And I was going through a lot, even doing that. It was challenging. But just as well, not even a month later, my fiance found out he had cancer. A horrible season of life, absolutely horrible. Now he's fine. He's perfectly fine. He's in remission. Everything is good. Thank goodness. But navigating through that season, I had to find out how I was going to make sure I was okay. I mean, the list of to dos was gigantic. And I feel like that's something that all of us face. It doesn't matter your walk of life. You are going through something right now. All of us are. Either we are dealing with something that is very difficult, or we're in a season where we are just accomplishing everything and we are winning. No matter what it is, we have to find ways to take care of ourselves. It is critical. I encourage all of us, even right now, I want you to think about what you can do to make sure you are okay. I don't mean perfect. I don't mean we say, oh, I'm not going to cry. Everything is fine. That's not it. I want you to really think about what you can do to make sure you are okay. This is where compassion starts inside of ourselves. Well being is not something that we just check off the to do list and we say it's done. We practice it. We think about it. We get curious. We ask ourselves over and over again, how can this be done? There is no magic trick to this. Remember over and over again that we are unique individuals. Diversity is going to come in and out of our lives no matter what it is that we're doing. If we aim to do something for someone else, we have to try hard to be there. We have to make sure that we are intact mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, all the things. You are a whole being. Now, I want you to think about what it would take to appreciate something and or someone that is different. Think about that. Think about what you can do to make sure your eyes are open, that you are in tune with the world so that you can create something better. I encourage you to be verbal about it. I remember one time recently, I was going out to eat and I saw this young lady at the counter and she didn't look so happy at all. I mean, you can kind of feel when somebody's going through a moment. When I looked at her, I said, okay, something is wrong. So what can I do in this moment? I mean, I don't know this woman. I'm not going to go ask her life story or try to fix her. That's not it. What I could do is tell her that I love what she had on, that it looked so beautiful and totally unique. And it really was. It's very different, but pretty. And when I said that, it changed everything just in the moment. She was like, I'm so glad you said that. I'm having such a hard day. And what you said was just, it was very kind. And I felt that. I could see it on her face. The way we choose to help other people, the way we choose to see someone beyond our normal scope of life, beyond our immediate circle, it's so strong. It has the power to change so much. But where does it start? With you. Everything is going to start with you. If you are not making sure that you are taking care of yourself, if you cannot figure out what it is that you can do to make life better for you, there's no way you can help anyone else. I learned over and over again that no one has the power to change the world in some grand way without facing some difficulties. And that's true. All of us have to take things one moment at a time. And because of that, because we choose to do so, we can make a real difference. So I want you to really take a moment to think about what it is that you are right now that maybe you are just learning about. Maybe you have overcome something great in life. Maybe you're facing something right now, but what is it that you taught yourself a long time ago that you use right now? Those types of things are what it takes to make a difference in the world. I love to write letters, absolutely love to. Handwritten, I enjoy that journey. And when I do so, I choose to allow myself to be present. I choose to make sure that I'm giving the other person a voice because it all matters. Our well being is not something that just, you write it off and it's done. It's definitely not. We have to do better about those things. We have to make sure that we are loving ourselves, paying attention to the things that we need, and we're doing a better job of helping each other. Every day you have a chance to do that. So think about what that really means. Now, before we get into the little Q&A space here, I wanted to make sure that I would leave you with something that was very powerful, something that would help you to think about what it takes to create change in your life. The first thing I want to tell you to do is make sure you are checking in with yourself. That's the first thing. It's self-awareness. It's taking a moment to love yourself and it's saying, this is where I am right now, and I'm okay with that because I understand the truth of it. The second thing that I want you to do is to make sure if you are going through something that is difficult, you understand that you have the tools in your toolbox to use and to make something even greater for yourself. It all starts with something very small. When you are able to understand that there are so many tiny things that you've already put inside of yourself that you can create these magnificent moments in life, things will change. It can be difficult, but you can make it happen. So I encourage you today and every day of your life to make sure you understand that you are unique. You are powerful. You have things that are inside of you that no one else on this planet has.
I apologize, everyone. We'll just wait to see if she comes back in a second here. I'm sorry, Dr. Allen, you froze and kind of went out for a second, so I don't
Uh-oh.
know.
No, I was just saying if anyone had any questions or they wanted to kind of share something here, I am open for all of it.
I just wanted to ask you a question. You talked a little bit about resiliency. So do you think, because it seems like you have a very positive outlook on things. And yet you've gone through, you've had a lot of different traumatic experiences. And so do you think resiliency is sort of something you're born with, or it's something you can learn and grow and nurture?
I don't think that we're necessarily born with it. And resilience is a kind of a difficult word because I don't want anybody to think that you have to always face the brick wall of life and keep running into it and keep running into it and saying, okay, I'm strong, I've got it, because that's not the case. Um, it is something that we learn because the situations that do come up in life, we're not always prepared for them. We're just not. There's no way to be prepared for them, but somehow we have to find a way to just overcome them in some way and just as well face them. I know for myself, when I face challenging times, I'm not perfect at saying, well, this is the beautiful side of things, and I feel like I can conquer the world. Definitely not. Quite often, I have to remind myself that I have to both face the situation and I also have to make it go away, like push it back. Sometimes I'll tell myself, this is so hard right now. And I just keep spiraling and spiraling and going down the rabbit hole of questions and trying to figure out the why of everything. But I have to find ways to say, you know what? This is where we are. This is what I can do. Now, what can I possibly learn from this moment so that if it does come about in any different or similar way, I will be able to face it. That's my version of resilience. That's how I find a way to conquer it. And it goes back to what I was saying about having that mental garden. Every one of us, we have some kind of seeds. We have this opportunity to do something that is great. We have an opportunity to grow and to learn and to be better and do better. But it's all about what we do after we have that seed in our hands. We have a choice. Are we going to plant it? Are we going to hold it? We're going to put it in the bag somewhere and try to sprout inside the house. We have all these different options, and how we choose to face it, that's our decision. But what we do with those moments, what we do to kind of push ourselves beyond what's facing us at that present time, that's what makes the difference.
All right. If anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And as I'm leaving, pausing so people can do that. I just wanted to remind everybody, I did put the link to the English language evaluation and the Spanish language evaluation in the chat. So please do take the time to fill those out before you log out today. And I would really, really, really appreciate it. And it helps us to continue to make the conference better each year. And I'll just pause for one more moment here to see if we get any more questions.
Thank you, Felisa.